Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chris with SBC, and today I'm not going to be going super professional with my tripod or anything. I'm not in the snake room like I normally be, but I'm actually in my game room right now because of the enclosure that you see behind me. I just recently got a shipment in, and we have Princess Peach, who is in quarantine currently, and I thought this would be a good time to tell you guys my quarantine setup on how I set up my quarantine enclosures and how it might be different from a lot of other people, and how I think that this is a very good way to set up your quarantine enclosures so that way you can balance, all your basic needs, humidity, temperature, cleanliness, and all that. But check this girl out right here. She is beautiful. We're gonna get into all the nitty gritty here, but look at this girl right here. She is a VPIT positive, sun glow, fire. All right, let's get into it. Alright, so this is the enclosure that we got Princess Peach in. This is my quarantine enclosure. Something I heard Vin Russo say was that it's going to take you 25 years to learn how to actually water your boas. And that kind of hit home with me because it's taken me about 13 years, the better part of 13 years, to figure out exactly how to quarantine my animals and keep all my parameters right still. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I do it. I am going to first prep my container. And basically what that means is I'm going to wash it out with Dawn dish soap and water, dry it out, and then afterwards we're going to use reptile spray. Kills mites on reptiles. This is just as a preventative. I don't put any spray on the reptile itself unless I'm actually having to treat the reptile, but this is a good preventative in case there are mites on the snake. If they crawl off, they'll die on the paper. You'll see them on the paper, and they won't get out of the enclosure. And then you can start treatment and stuff if you need to. That's a whole different video topic. But that is how we prep the enclosure. Next is heating for the enclosure. I always use under tank heating. I talk about under tank heating all the time. It's my personal favorite. I think it's better for their digestion, and you have to run that to a thermostat. So I have this on a thermostat. It's right back here. And then the probe goes between the enclosure and the heat mat. All right, so now that you have a prepped enclosure, you have it heated, now you gotta think substrate. All right, so our substrate is paper towels, and paper towels are very beneficial to be able to see stuff on, like mites or anything if they're there, but the problem is they don't hold humidity very well. So I have developed a way to keep the humidity up by using crunched up paper towel in the corner of the hot side. And so I will wet those. Not too wet because you don't want it to get too much of the rest of the paper wet. You want these animals to be able to have dry places to be able to go, but enough that it will slowly release humidity into the enclosure over time. This has been a game changer with keeping humidity up in my quarantine enclosures. So I'll come by and I'll mist those about twice a day or as needed, and that is how we get the humidity levels up. Another thing is your hides. When this animal was where it was at, we don't know if it used to hang out on the cold side, hang out in the middle, or hang out in the hot side. All these animals are different. Every single boa is unique. I have animals that hang out on the hot side. I have animals that hang out on the cold side. I have animals that hang out somewhere in between. So I like to give these guys 3 options. A hide somewhere in the middle. Toilet paper roll is great for that. Hide somewhere in the middle. A hide on the cold side and a hide on that hot side. And then obviously we need fresh water. You just use a small Tupperware container. Get them fresh water on a regular basis. Everything is very easily cleanable. If they defecate in the cage, you can change out the paper towels, put down new paper towels. And again, like I said, the trick for the humidity is by wetting a couple paper towel balls in the corner of that hot side. That is it to my quarantine setup. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. If this has helped you out, send it to a friend. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Until next time, happy keeping.